Welcome to Life Mastery Radio with Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey, the show that dives into the science of higher consciousness with inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. Join Todd, Jackie, and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. It's all right here with stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Now, here's your hosts, Todd and Jackie.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and most of you know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. That's because I make it that way. When I get up in the morning, I decide it's going to be a groovy day before my feet hit the ground, and you know what? 9 times out of 10, that's the way it turns out. Something might happen, something might change, but I always just think back. Hey, I started out groovy, and I'll make it groovy no matter what's happening. Hey, Jackie, did you notice that we're diving right in? We're going to dive right in. Are you ready to dive?
I've never been much of a diver.
I just picked up on that.
I'm more or less cannonball. I'll cannonball in. How's that?
As always, my co-host is with me today, Jackie Bailey. Hi, my friend.
Hello,
how are
everybody. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com, whichever one you prefer. And any links that we talk about will be right there on our show page for today. And later on in the week, you can find the show live. Well, you can find the recording of the live show on our YouTube channel. So go check it out. There's like 300 shows. So if you're looking for something to do or you want to know about something, Jackie and I bring on a guest every week, and they are on the cutting edge of their own becoming and guiding people to their own becoming. I think I said that right. Didn't I say that right, Jackie?
I think so.
As always, Jackie's here. Jackie, get us up to date. You've got some really cool things cooking.
Oh my goodness. We've had little miracles this past week, and I would love an opportunity to share that because it tells you that the world is smaller than we think, but there's more tremendous love than we could ever imagine. One of our students named Samuel, who lives in Nigeria, was on a recent summit about a month ago. First time speaking on an actual stage, as is the case with many of our students. And being in Nigeria, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities to do that. And he was an amazing speaker and gave such an inspiring message to the world. And he wants to do it again, of course. So we had him lined up that for the summit that's coming up next week, where 6 of our students are going to be on. And yet Samuel's laptop went back to work with his older brother, and he had no way to participate, not only in the summit, which he really wanted to do, but also in our ongoing courses. And this saddened him, of course. And because family situation being what it is, his family could not afford to get him a new laptop right now. So I put the word out to my grand network of people and said, hey, here's the situation. Yeah, here's the situation. I can't possibly buy a laptop and get it shipped to Samuel in time to participate on this summit. Is there anyone in Nigeria or surrounding area that thinks they could possibly help with getting him a laptop? Well, to make a long story short, someone from this area, from our area here in Washington, whom I do not know, contacted me and said, I have a contact in Nigeria and we can get Samuel a laptop. And the two of them purchased this brand new laptop and then made it possible for Samuel and his mother to travel to this neighboring city near Lagos and pick up a laptop last Friday. And I met with Samuel yesterday, actually. It was yesterday morning. We recorded his summit presentation. He is a happy camper. And his life has been changed knowing that a little boy in Nigeria is loved enough by people that don't even know him to provide an opportunity for him to speak up and speak out and get his voice heard. So thank you for everyone involved in that and everyone who does amazing work every day, especially for our youth. Thank you.
Well, I have to ricochet that right back at you because so if you think back, both of us we're involved in the Toastmasters International Organization, and it's an international organization. And Jackie and I both worked our way up through leadership. But if you think back, Jackie, to those days, would you have ever imagined that you have the kind of global outreach that you have today? Could you even have dreamed? I mean, it just blows me away, the contacts that you have worldwide.
Yeah, you're right. This pandemic, as much havoc as it has wreaked, has really been advantageous in a lot of ways, because as you say, I have this little schoolhouse is what you call it. And I was having public speaking courses here and they were going great, but our reach was very limited. And we were thinking about ways, how could we reach more kids? And that's why we became a nonprofit, and we were trying to get into the school systems. And all of a sudden the pandemic hits, we have to pivot online. And who knew that pivot, that need to shift to a virtual classroom would allow so many more students to learn public speaking skills. And then I could never imagine, even beyond that summits would become so popular that our students could start speaking on that, because otherwise we'd have to travel kids all around the country and the world to be able to get on an actual stage and speech. But now, and speak, I speak English and be able to speak. But now they can just use a laptop and log on and share their voice with the world. It is amazing, absolutely amazing that we go through these challenges and so much is lost, but so much is gained at the same time.
Even if you think back, your profession was in the dental industry, right?
Yes.
And now look at you today. It's like, I have a vision. This is what I want to do. I want to help kids get their voice out. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll just take this step and then this step and then this opportunity and this opportunity. Oh my gosh. Boom, boom, boom.
That's the thing, is I think you just try to prepare yourself for opportunities that come, and you may not expect those opportunities, but you have to be open-minded to whatever, because if you're closed-minded to just one particular type of opportunity, you may not see everything else opened up to you. And that's what happened, is people just started asking me to do this or to do that. And I said, okay, yes, I'll do that. And it led to more and more different things. And before I knew it, here I was developing.
I like to say, you got to keep your head up, tail out from between your legs, that tail wagging, and you're just looking for that squirrel. Where's that squirrel?
Right. That's all it's about, That's all it's about.
Cool. Yeah. That is very, very cool. Well, we're going to keep you posted on Jackie's adventures. I am just blown away. We just had a board meeting. I'm on her board for the nonprofit, and some of her accomplishments. I mean, we could take a whole show talking about all the cool stuff she's doing. I am so impressed. Let's see, what else do I have? Go to our website, check out our newsletter. You can sign up for our newsletter. Jackie creates a newsletter every week, and it highlights who's coming on the show, who's been on the show, and it's becoming an infamous, or is it famous blog post about who's been on the show. Everybody enjoys it, and our guests really enjoy it, and it gets shared all over. And then she gets more outreach, so that's even more cool.
I'd like to think that's happening.
No, I've gotten some reports back. My kids listen to the show. So that's my call to you. Tell your friends, tell your kids, tell everybody about the really cool show that happens every week at Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, called Life Mastery Radio with Todd and Jackie.
Friends, don't let friends miss Life Mastery Radio.
I like that. We're going to have to put that in print somewhere. Okay. I think we're done sweeping the room, and today's guest is amazing. I listened to some multiple podcasts, and Jackie's acquaintance and friend, and so tag you're it, Jackie. You get to do the introduction.
I am delighted. Aron and I have made contact through the Positive Prime community, which we both love, and I'm excited that he's on the show today because he has an amazing story. And he was Aron O'Dowd is his name. And he was traveling back to Ireland from Glasgow a couple of years ago when a lady at the airport softly asked Aron, "Are you partially excited?" Well, the woman meant to say partially sighted, because Aron has a visual impairment. Well, the phrase partially excited sort of stuck with Aron, and he has been hosting a podcast called Partially Excited. And he felt that the name Partially Excited speaks volumes, since we are beings who are excited to create, to build, and experience freedom and security. And we don't let challenges disable us with their twists and turns. Aron believes we can be and achieve all of it. And he has achieved so much. He is a triathlete, as I said, a podcaster, a massage therapist, and so much more. And we're going to hear what that more is today. But Aron's disability doesn't stop him from being who he is or from doing the things he is here to do. And today we are going to hear his amazing hero's journey. So welcome, Aron O'Dowd. It is a delight to have you with us.
Yabba dabba do. Where can I go from there, you know?
Well, not only that, I think, didn't you set a world record?
I did, yes. So in 2008, I had gone from discovering rowing to club level to international level. And then I went to the British indoor rowing event in the UK. And I hopped on the rowing machine indoor competition for my very first time. I won the race and came first with a time of 3 minutes and 38 seconds for 1,000 meters. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, in the under 18 category, I won a gold medal and came back home. A few days later, my coach said, "Hey, I think you broke a record." And I was like, "What?" "Yeah, you broke a record by 32 seconds. And I was like, no. Went onto the website and there it is, printed, dated. And from 2008 to 2016, that record was not touched until they changed it from 1,000 meters to 2,000 meter race.
Look
Wow.
at you. That's awesome. How old were you at the time? You said you were under 18?
17.
You were 17 and you have a gold record and a broken record. You have a gold medal and a broken record. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now you haven't always been partially sighted, right?
No.
You used to have full sight, born sighted, right?
Yes.
Can you walk us through how that changed and when?
Yeah. So I was born with a genetic gene called Bardet Biedl Syndrome, and it affects my whole body. If you type it into Google, don't ask me to spell, it's a mouthful, but if you type it into Google, you'll see a number of issues wrong with the body. But the common issue that's problem with this gene is Retinitis Pigmentosa, which is a visual impairment. If you take your hand and turn it flash in a circle and close it to a fist, that's what's happening over my lifetime. I have it, my sister has it, my uncle has it. And in my case, at the age of 7, my parents started to notice little problems with my vision. So they went to the doctor took a test, and he told my parents that your son has retinitis pigmentosa. So from the age of 7 to about age 11, I could do 90% of things, ride bikes, play soccer, play video games, computers, you name it. But from the age of 13 to my 20s, that's when all the damage of the vision is done. It's the puberty is taking the pinball hormones to negate the vision. So some people can lose 100% or whatever. It's like going to Las Vegas and betting on the house.
Wow.
And yeah, so in my case, in my 20s, I lost about 35% vision. And then from my 20s to which I'm 31 right now, you lose maybe 0% or 1%. And I joke with people, it's, you go to your NCT to check your car and make sure it's checked by the cars to see if it's on the road. That's me at my vision. I get checked every year to see what's changed, what hasn't, new research and so on. And in my family, we decided, look, this is what we have. This is the cards we dealt. Let's figure out how to make a lifestyle around it.
I think that's what you have to do, right? So what were you feeling during this time when you got that diagnosis, knowing that you were eventually going to be losing your sight? How did you handle that?
Sadness, anger, all the above. It took me a long time to overcome, maybe into my mid-20s,
Really?
to actually come to terms of losing. I've been to the School for the Blind in Ireland. I've a long cane getting around. I've trained dogs to be guide dogs and bred for Irish guide dogs, but it takes a long time to come to terms and coping around something that the visual world that we live in is, and realize I can't participate in that world in the way it is.
Yeah. So what did you start to do then to prepare yourself for the inevitable?
I just started learning skill sets like being on the computer, adapting, using the long cane, memory, hands, feeling. So I learned a few tricks of the trade over time, but probably from the age of 17 to 21, that's when I didn't want to come to terms, but I had to come to terms with the vision I had and the vision I'd lost. And probably in my mid-20s, I eventually came to say, let's just do what we do, forget about that challenge and forget about not eventually seeing, because this is the life I'll be leading over time, unless something happens in my field that improves or some treatment comes out or some therapy. But at the moment, I just roll up my sleeves, get dirty, and play out life.
Wow. That's fascinating. But during this time too, didn't I hear that you developed an insatiable desire for knowledge? You crammed as much in your head as you could. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I describe people that Sherlock Holmes has this thing called the memory palace. And I kind of joke that that's my memory palace. Like, I remember stuff. I've made teachers in anatomy and physiology go crazy over a 5-chapter exam with over 300 names to remember looking at the book. I've gotten my way of a lost forest. So, you like I said, you learn tools of the trade to figure out how to adapt and to get out of some stressful and some crazy situations.
Yeah. Sounds like you got a really cool book cooking inside you.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah.
So how much can you see right now, Aron?
I'm going to be like an alcoholic. On a good day, I can see 35%. On a bad day, 15%.
So you still have my girlfriend is an albino. I think I told you that during the pre-show, and she has ocular albinism. But you can make out shadows and images, or no?
I can make out images, shapes, and I can see people head to toe. But if you ask me what color their eyes are, that's a different story.
Yeah. So there is no detail, but yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so my biggest question, like her, she's developed some of her other senses are just uncanny. I mean, she's just able to tune in. Did that happen with you, or are your other senses more developed now and feel like you have? I think in some other podcasts you described it as it's a superpower.
It is a superpower. I've made chefs cry over pizzas. I've made my friend who produced my podcast whistle the dog whistle and I could hear it. So the touch, I could put something in my hand and that's glass or a piece of clay or whatever. So you just develop this sixth sense of feeling things. I think we all have this, but we've so focused on our vision so much that we forget about it. Yeah,
it's a capability that we all have, but we just overlook it, and it's fascinating to me. What else? I guess my question is, what other opportunities do you think have come your way because of the disability? I mean,
Todd, I think everyone has the same amount of opportunities, regardless if I can see or can't see.
Right.
But yet we live in this bubble called society and this bubble called disability. But when you remove disability, you realize everyone has the same opportunity. I've rode and competed with physical impairments, intellectual impairments, guys who've come from Afghanistan and Iraq, blown up limbs, everything. and they just live life the same way they would if they had all their faculties.
Right. And you,
Well, what other
and,
choice do we really have, right?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we either give up or we keep going, right? And you've chosen to keep going, Aron.
Mm-hmm.
Were you
And-
always athletic?
Probably about 11, 12, 13, I discovered rollerblading when my family and I lived in Taiwan. And that's when I got the bug for the adrenaline junkie. And when we moved back to Ireland, and when I was 13, I had dogs, so I'd go running and cycling through them. And then probably about early 16, age 17, I heard about rowing in the National Council for the Blind, which is an organization to help blind people find new opportunities, and said, hey, there's this thing called rowing. And I hopped on the rowing machine, and I describe it as like a first kiss with a girlfriend. I fell in love with it, and that's when I fell madly in love with rowing and being an athlete.
Wow. And so triathlons, are you still active in triathlons? Let's see, that's bicycle, running, and swimming, correct?
That's correct, but not in that order. It's swimming, biking, and running.
Right. And you're able to manage the biking okay, or do you have assistance?
I have we call them guides for the whole thing. So I have a guide for swimming, I have a guide for biking, and I have a guide for running. Guiding for swimming, you wear a strap on your leg. They have a strap on their leg, and that's how you guide. A bike is a tandem, and run is where you hold a string or have a strap around your waist and they run. You push them around the course, they push you around the course, and it's great fun. And I still do it.
I bet that's great fun.
Well, I could see how rowing would be really amazing for someone who's partially sighted, because you're sitting in a boat and you've got oars in your hand. All you need to do is listen to the rhythm. You don't necessarily need to see anything, right?
Well, I think a lot of it, Jackie, is on a machine.
You're right
right
there, Jackie.
It's on a machine, yeah. So you are just by yourself, you're not with a team, but you could be part of a rowing team, couldn't you, on an actual body of water?
Yeah, totally correct. That's it.
Yeah. And so is your first love, and you've been doing that how long?
I've been a rower for about 12 years, and in 2019, I needed and wanted a new challenge. And the nutritionist who I work out, shout out to her, she's amazing what she does. And she told me about this thing called triathlon. And I was like, space of 2 years, like, no, I won't do it. No. And it's like, just give it a try. Here's a guy's contact, connect with them, give it a try. And it was like rowing again. I found a brand new challenge, brand new love. And
So when you swim then in the triathlon, is it in a lake? Is it in the ocean? Where are you swimming?
All above. Lake,
Okay.
ocean, pool.
Swimming pool.
Yeah. So the distance I do is 750 meter swim, 20-kilometer bike, and 5K run. That's the Paralympic standards to compete in the Paralympics and World Championships.
That's an all-day sucker for sure.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Ironman's. That's a piece of cake, you know.
Is that your next thing?
No. I'm a sprinter. Always a sprinter. Need for speed.
Well, that's pretty amazing, though. I mean, I would never attempt a triathlon, and yet, I guess I
don't speak too soon. Now you've climbed so many hills that you didn't know you could climb. I bet you could climb that one.
Yes, but well, so what's next for you then, Aron? What do you still aspire to do?
I have many fires in my pot at the moment. My sporting ambitions is to get to. Just hold on a sec. Sorry about this. So my sporting ambitions is to get to international level for triathlon. My business opportunities is to show how people are in the world of disabilities and creating a world record mindsets using different tools I've picked up throughout the 13 or 14 years of being an athlete.
Oh, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
World record mindset. I like that. That's really powerful.
And I also heard on one of the podcasts I was listening to that there's a spiritual side to it. Is that a big component of it too? I mean, you talked about learning to meditate, and I think you were a little concerned about visiting a Reiki master, but then you discovered, hey, that's got great power. Maybe you could take us down that road.
Yeah. So after I created the record in 2008, I went straight from playing in the little league to the major league, racing against guys who were 20, 30, 40 years old, 200 pounds, 300 pounds. And I went straight from racing the UK, racing to the Europeans, and then racing at world championship level on the rowing machine. I'd lost a few races and I had problems in school, and my mom said, hey, would you go to a psychologist? And I felt psychologist doesn't want to suit me. My mom said, hey, there's a Reiki master in our neighborhood. Would you go see her? And I said, yeah, I'll try it, because I want to try everything, not close the door on anything. And I went to her first session, and as I kind of described the rowing and the triathlon, I fell in love with that again, and went curiosity into that, and went into meditation and all the above, and massage and reflexology, and discovered about the body and how you can utilize it in performance. And but at that time, from probably 2008 to 2012, I was still in high school, but I was kind of pursuing this in after school, learning about this meditation and that energy and everything to do around the world of spirituality.
And so though, with those thoughts and ideas, did that open your world up even more? Maybe you could describe that for us. I mean, being able to visualize inside your head what it is you're going to do is huge power.
It is huge power. And there's a song from the Willy Wonka factory, A World of Imagination. And even though you may not see, or you may not hear or talk or walk, you still have a world of imagination inside you. And that's one thing I discovered going knee deep into a meditation called Kriya Yoga. And I discovered it in 2010. And ever since then, I've been practicing regularly, and I've attended ashrams in America and Europe, which I go to regularly every couple of years after a massive 4 or 5 year training cycle and business cycle, and just chill out. And that's my main meditation. But throughout the years, I was exploring and figuring out, how does someone not be able to see, but they can see in a different way? And I say a different way, it's like a dog can smell electricity in some way, that the human can do that through the energetic field. And I think it's fascinating. But in my case, I went off for an 8-week meditation trip and actually got high from it. And I think, what the body can do is what we don't really understand or know about in some way.
Yeah.
Aron, I actually wonder if you might have an advantage over those of us who have, I guess, normal sight, for a better word, because we can be so distracted by things and find it hard to get into that consciousness mindset. But we all have the third eye, right? Even if we don't have vision through our natural eyes, we all have a third eye where we can tap into that mindset of consciousness and positivity. So do you find that was easy for you to do, or was that a challenge for you to get into?
I think for me, it was quite easy and quite challenging at the same time. Everyone has this ability to go in, but like you said, we're so distracted. Even I can be so distracted, and that's where the challenge comes in. But if you're in nature, or when you sit down to meditate for an hour, you're actually going back into that space. And and a lot of athletes would describe this as flow. And flow allows us to be in a space where I've no thoughts in my head. I'm moving with slowness, but with speed, and everything is intelligent. But we just don't tap into it. It's like the internet. Do I want to go to Yahoo or do I want to go to Google? And that's what's like going with the third eye and the spirituality in some way.
Well, I admire you for that, because I'm challenged with really, mastering that art. So I think you definitely have an advantage in that regard, for sure. For me, it's like the shiny object syndrome, right? And always distracted by something, or of course our thoughts do it maybe more than anything, right? if we allow our thoughts to really take us off track from what we have the power to change, then I think that can be a disadvantage for everybody. How supportive has your family been for you?
My family are my major fans, even though I want to be massively independent like any adult or any child wants to be, but without the support of my family, I wouldn't kind of be doing what I'm doing. They back me 100%, even though I feel like no and yeah, but any good parent wants to make sure that they can support their child in the best way they can. And that's what our family's about, is how can we support and build and create incredible things as the incredible beings that we are.
Yeah.
What do you believe the value system was then that you were raised with that allowed that to all happen?
I think the fact that we moved from different countries when both my sister and I were growing up. We lived in Austin, Texas for 6 years. We lived in Taiwan for 2 years. Then we came back to Ireland, and I think cultures and exploring different avenues and different methods of how to adapt and figure out. And my mom was young, so she thought about this cure and that medication and this and so on. And even to this day, we still explore about what about this, what about that. But I think with my dad's brother being visually impaired as well, he got to see another side of that, where he said, this is what we want and don't want in some way,
Yeah. How about your sister? Is she vision impaired?
She is, but she'd have more vision than I because of the age difference.
She's younger than you?
Yes, the older you get, the more you become blind. That's the way the mechanics works.
Yeah.
So Aron, I'm really curious. What is your vision for the future? What is it that you are aspiring to be, do, and have in your future?
I want people to be these incredible being that they are. If you want to go bungee jump, there's a support network around you to help you bungee jump. If you want to be on an international stage giving Toastmaster speeches, here are the people. In a sense of, I've spent 13 years going from coach to coach, learning from master to master in the athletic world. But I see very similar correlations between that and the business world and the spirituality world and this chain. And for me, it's to create a blockchain of people, networks, community, technology that can actually negate and remove the world of disability, because we all have a disability. I don't have enough money, physical, mental, psychological, spiritually. There are challenges, and in my case, I don't see any challenges. I'm like a bull going through a wall. I don't see the surroundings or surround me. I just feel like, if I want to be primed, here's the positive mechanics. If I want to cycle around the world, here's a tandem and here's whatever. And I think it's, forget about I can't, it should be I can. And that's what I'm building, is how to become the superhero. But the superhero means I have the ingredients. How can I turn the ingredients into a Michelin star curry?
Yeah. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, right?
Yeah.
I love that you say we all have a disability, because it's very true. It's very true, whether it's one of our five senses or our spiritual connection or our ability to be kind or grateful, thoughts, whatever it is, we all struggle with something. And we all have to decide, am I going to let this victimize me? Or am I going to, like you, just be a bull and break through the wall and not worry about anything bothering us, again, just making those choices and doing it. And so are you thinking about writing a book then? Is that on the to-do list?
It is, but when I'm in my 90s and retirement has come and I've nothing to do, then I write the book. But for the moment, I'm just enjoying life and enjoying the ride,
Then it will be your memoir.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay too. We can wait that long.
but I get, I get from your presence and the way you show up that you are all about inspiring others.
Yes.
And I would think that, your story, and at least up until this point, would be a great way to get the message out and inspire others. And so maybe just reconsider. I mean, that's just what hit my heart when you said that.
Yeah, definitely got a message that needs to be heard.
Yeah, I think so. And inspire. That's kind of why we're here, right? Is to inspire others. I mean, through our story and our experience, and to help others maybe navigate those obstacles that we navigated, and then they can end up navigating their own obstacles. So yeah, I think that's ultimately what it is. What else are we missing, Aron? What else can you tell us? What else comes to your mind about success, and why you are here when you are here, I guess.
At this moment.
That's a real tongue tire there.
I get myself wound up sometimes. I just can't help it. That's my disability.
No worry, I'm learning Spanish at the moment, so I understand the tongue tied, so no worries. I think for me right now, there's a few things in my mind. Is I'm learning about Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrency, and the reason why I'm learning about that is because it's the future. I grew up with computers. My dad worked for Dell Computers, no longer does, but I grew up when you had computers like the size of a tail and you're putting them in the fridge because the fan doesn't work. And I really learned the ins and outs of how computers work. But I see this being the future of blockchain and cryptocurrency, but I see, how can I apply this to people like me? Walking example idea I have is, you wear a GoPro camera on, connected to an app called Be My Eyes, and there's someone on the other side of the line. You're going supermarket shopping where you're picking up the bananas, they're saying they're bananas or whatever. That's one idea that you could use the blockchain for. I use text to speech, which I showed you in our pre-recording of this interview, where the computer's AI reads the screen out for me, but there's issues with that regarding if you have a Windows computer or a Mac computer. Looking at software like Positive Prime, looking at software at how to change the neuropathic ways of the brain and vision and walking, and how to enhance, because we all are living a high performance lifestyle. And I think, how can I define my own success with the tools, the tricks and the trade to be that world record Olympic mindset, because we all have a mindset to be the Joe Rogan of podcasts or the Elon Musk of engineering or whoever is in the space, but we have that same opportunity to reach that Olympic level, but we just don't see because we may have not the right mindset or the disability of the wall where we can't get past it.
So that might be a good place to go, Aron, is if we have partially sighted or vision impaired guests listening to us today or at some future point, what are some things you can share with them, some areas of technology? You mentioned a few things like Positive Prime and others that have helped you. Is there something that you can specifically talk about for people who may not know all of the technological devices that you use that help you get through every day?
Yeah, sure. So my favorite device is my iPhone and MacBook. And the reason why I use these two is because the software is built in already. The accessibility is built in. If I went and bought a Windows computer, I have to spend an extra $2,000 or euros or pounds or whatever the currency is to get the software added onto the computer. A lot of people don't really know that in the blind community, starting
Okay.
from the beginning. On my iPhone, I have a number of apps, and my 3 favorite apps are VoiceOver, which reads out the screen for me, so I can send text messages on whatever from Telegram to WhatsApp to email. My next favorite app is called Be My Eyes, which I mentioned, and it allows a FaceTime call with someone on another part of the world, and you say, hey, do I have a can of beans in my hand? And through the camera, they'll be able to say, turn that left, turn that right, up, down. Oh yeah, that's a can of beans. And I end the phone call and I know that's a can of beans in my hands.
Wow.
Yeah, these are some amazing times. I mean, AI is really coming a long way. And I heard something last night about this new Google AI assistant that can learn. And you could interact with this assistant and not know that it was a computer. That's how far we've come now.
Yeah. It is, and and my third piece of tool is positive prime, because I'm learning at the moment the nervous system and the neural pathways. But I think if you have an impairment, your mindset isn't the great, because life is a place where it's hitting you all the time, where you can't go out do this, you can't drive, you can't, there's all these can'ts. But when you watch a session, and the session I like watching is my own, the Aron O'Dowd peak performance, because the images are curated for me to show me on a regular basis of, yeah, I can do this. Because even though I have times where it's raining, it's cold out, I don't want to get up and do my things. And I click on that session, and it's like, okay, it's, I describe it as like my inspiration coffee, and I get up and I watch it, and my day's perfect. And I think if someone was starting off with a visual impairment or some sort of impairment, I would suggest, hey, find a community, find tools that will optimize your mindset and performance in some way.
So Aron, maybe you could share a special link that would take them to, is there a way they could watch your session? Anyone who's impaired that way? Maybe not now, but you could send it to us and we'll put it in the newsletter and on the show page, so that people can have access to watch your session. I think it's a beautiful session. And anyone who's feeling a little bit down, or that they can't tap into who they really are, it's a great session to watch and learn from and experience.
Yeah, so I'll do that. And what I like about my session is because I've added frequency music into it. And when I was in high school, I had to attend work experience for about a year. And I wanted to do Reiki, and I went back to my Reiki master and said, hey, I want to do Reiki in Dublin. Do anybody? It's like, yeah, I know this lady called Mairead Conlon. She has this seminar business, and she's these healers. And I had an interview with her, and I got a job for a year every Thursday to do Reiki on people. And I met a therapist called Dr. Mary Helen Hensley, and she's a sound therapist. And she has an amazing gift where she can hear people's tune of what's wrong in their body as a chiropractor and a sound therapist.
Wow.
And through her going up to her every year and every month, and I still go to her this day if I'm back in Ireland. And she taught me a lot about frequency, and she said, hey, I'm teaming up with this guy in California who's a producer, Greg Bapania, and he makes his own frequency music. And she played this, she put my headphones on, she said, here, try this song out. And it was a meditation, and that meditation that herself and Greg designed is the audio for my positive prime session. And every time I listen to it, I get goosebumps, and because the music just brings you to space. I was like, bliss in some way, you know?
Nice. And so that's an important part of your daily routine is positive prime and that positive feedback. And how much of a difference has that really made? How much do you think that really makes in your day?
if you don't drink a cup of coffee, you're tired. For me, that's my cup of coffee. I used it all during the pandemic and for my first triathlon race, and it helped majorly in my life. And I've been tinkering around with different combinations of music and images and frequency, and this is the cake I made, and very happy with it. But what it does is it creates a positive charge where I can get up and do anything. I've done races where I've used it before a race and I'm pumped for the race, where I'm not tired, and I've used it in massive sessions where I convert in 600, 700, 800 watts on the bike, and it's I would describe it like a steroid, but I don't like using the word steroid because of the negative connotations around it, but I think it is in some way,
Well, it's a natural high. It's a natural boost.
Yeah.
It's like taking steroids, but you don't have to actually ingest a chemical. It's all inside you.
Mm-hmm.
Aron, I have your session up. Would it be okay if we played it?
Yeah, go ahead.
At what speed do you think is best for our audience to watch?
I'd say maybe 5x. I watch at 10x, but it's too fast.
Okay. Let me bring it up here. Okay, audience, you can see this. Let me, I'll start it, and then I'll maybe make sure I share the sound. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to play just 3 minutes of this session. This is created by Aron with music and images as well. Let me increase the speed here. Can you guys hear it?
Nope.
No, why can't we hear it? Okay, let me stop for a second. Why are we not hearing it?
It takes a few seconds for the music.
Does it take a few minutes? Seconds
Yeah.
to start it? Okay, let's try it again. Should be started by now, huh?
Yeah.
Here we go.
There you go. You got it.
That's really amazing, Aron. I don't know. I felt that spiritual connection with that soundtrack. That's amazing.
I even saw your name pop up in there.
Well, that's because you were watching my session. That's
why. I thought it was his session.
If you have it is his session, but you're watching it from my account. So when you have your own account, then your name pops up there.
Yeah. Now I get it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Aron, we are just about out of time, my friend. We have about, looks like 3 minutes left. I want to thank you for showing up as you today and for making the difference in people's lives. It's just amazing the things you've overcome, the challenges that you have overcome. And like you said, it's just like a bull going through a wall. I am here. Hear me now. I'm going for it.
I want to say thank you so much, guys. You do an incredible job with this show, and it's great to be a guest on the millions of guests you have here who are inspiring, incredible, and awesomeness.
Is there a last minute parting shot that you would like to let our listeners know? Something from the heart, maybe?
Just be awesome, because we get knocks and bumps on the road, but when we are in our Elvis or Beyonce, we can move mountains and become the next superstar.
And put a ring on it, right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love your sense of humor, Aron.
Yeah, thank you again for showing up as you. Any takeaways, Jackie? It was a cool show, cool guest.
You know what?
Awesome again.
The more I learn about Aron, the more he is amazing in my eyes. He's such an impressive human being. And Aron, I know you're sort of in this transitionary place right now where it's like, what do I do next? And the universe is going to tell you, if it hasn't already, you're going to get a clear vision, and it's going to be an amazing vision. And I'm just going to be happy to know you and watch this thing happen. So thank you for being on our show today.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's about all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you tell a friend about the show. Lastly, check out Aron. Check out Aron's stuff. Please, please, please make it a great day, because it is all about choice. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Mastery Radio. Join Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery through stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Visit their website, www.lifemasteryradio.com. Join their mailing list and be notified about upcoming guests. That's lifemasteryradio.com.